It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hey guys, Tyler here. On my channel, I'm pretty well known for criticizing the social justice movement many times. Now, because I criticize the social justice movement many times, many people actually confuse me of being a conservative. So for this video, I want to clarify my own personal political beliefs. That way no one actually get confused about my personal thought process on things. Before I give my personal thoughts about this matter, let's clarify the definition of some words. That way no one actually get lost about the same thing that I'm talking about. Now, the first thing on the list that was done by Mike Johnson about conservatism is the idea of individual freedom. It says right here that the birth of a great nation was inspired by the bold declaration that our individual God-given liberties should be preserved against government intrusion. The same conviction informs our conservative policy decisions still today. In America, we proclaim the self-evident truth that all of us are created equal and granted by God the same inherent freedoms, such as the natural and unalienable rights to life, liberty, conscience, free speech, and the exercise of religion, and the ability to pursue happiness, own property, build wealth, and defend ourselves and our families. The purpose of government is to secure these rights, and the ideas that we advance should always aim to maintain and increase the liberty of the American people. I absolutely agree about the notion and the idea of individual freedoms, which is why on my page I will actually support things such as the legalization of drugs, the legalization of prostitution, the legalization of pornography, as well as the fact that gay marriage should also be allowed, that gay adoption should also be allowed, that assisted suicide should also be allowed too. Of course, the whole entire issue about free speech is more or less a no-brainer, and I truly believe that although I don't necessarily agree with the ideas of abortion, that women should also be allowed to have abortion too, even though I don't necessarily like it that much. And so for me, the core center for my ideology that I subscribe to is an emphasis on liberty and how people have their own personal pursuit of happiness. That's the core message about my personal values that I have. Peace through strength. The first obligation of the federal government is to provide for the common defense of the United States by securing our borders and protecting our homeland and our strategic interests abroad. We're not the world police force, but America serves in the role of a moral leadership in an increasingly dangerous world. When it comes down to the issue of war, I'm pretty much against that notion, because I find it unfortunate that there are so many soldiers that are disabled thanks to war. I find it so incredibly frustrating that there are many people who are also dying as a result of war to basically protect not just our country, but other countries abroad. And so I don't think that war should be a priority, and I also don't think that the United States should be the moral police for everybody else. And so I do in fact think that the only kind of way that war can actually just be defensible, I guess, would be the notion if someone were to attack you, you actually need to attack back. But otherwise, I don't think that our country should actually be on the defense every single time and cause wars and other kind of issues across the globe. The rule of law. To maintain order, liberty, and to civilize society, public and private virtue should be encouraged and justice must be administered equally and impartially to all. Each branch of government must adhere to the Constitution, and the judicial branch must not be allowed to assume or exercise legislative or executive powers. Transparency and accountabilities are key to good government, and Congress must faithfully perform its constitutional responsibility of oversight. I have no problems right there with anything that was said. Limited government. For individual liberty to be championed, government must be reduced. We believe, as our fathers did, that legitimate government operates only by the consent of the governed and is more efficient and less corrupt when it's limited to its size and scope. When applied as written, our incompatible Constitution provides important safeguards against government encroachment, a vital separation of powers, and a necessary system of check and balance. Once again, I don't necessarily disagree with what's been written down. Number 6, free markets. Government often stand as the greatest obstacle to the progress and prosperity of free people. Free markets and free trade agreements allow for innovation, empowerment, and economic expansions as risk takers, entrepreneurs, and business owners are given the liberty to pursue the American dream and create more jobs and upward mobility for more people. We believe competition should be encouraged and government intervention and regulation should be limited. Once again, no disagreement. Human dignity. Because all men are created equal and in the image of God, every human life has inalienable dignity and value, and every person should be measured only by the content of their character. A just government protects lives, honor marriage and family as the primary institution of a healthy society, and embrace the vital cultural influence of religion and morality. Now, this part right here is where I actually agree and disagree with this list. Because first and foremost, the whole entire God talk basically loses me because I'm not really religious at all. You guys already know about this on my channel. But also, I would say the parts that I would actually agree with is that basically family and marriage should be like at the centerpiece for many people. Because unfortunately, there are many people who don't necessarily value the time of family, of friends, and also their marriage. Because 50% of the American population are actually in divorce as I speak right now. And so unfortunately, not many people actually embrace the ideas of, I guess you could say, a stable marriage and also family. Now, when it comes on the notion, the idea that basically you need to actually appreciate and embrace religion, again, I am in favor of the liberty of people to practice whatever kind of religion that they want to, as long as they don't necessarily hurt other people. But for me, I don't think I wanted to embrace that kind of ideas, because I think that sometimes such ideas can lead people to become more superstitious in the process. And so while I do in fact endorse the freedom of religion, I don't want to actively encourage religion either. As you guys can see directly from my answers, you can tell that on social issues, I'm socially liberal, and then on financial issues and governmental roles, I'm actually conservative. And so I would say that basically when it comes down to my own personal views, I would say the closest label to my whole entire viewpoint is a classical liberal. And so basically, I will look more right-wing in comparison to today's leftists or communists and socialists, but at the same time I would also look pretty left-wing in comparison to, I guess, a conservative, in comparison to my ideas about the emphasis of liberty and other kind of issues, about social issues. So, what do you guys think about my viewpoints? Tell me in the comment section down below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.